It's about T.I., a legendary figure in rap, and his eldest son, King Harris. Recent reports say that after T.I. found out King had been in a secret relationship with a man, he reportedly kicked him out of the family home. The news has sparked a whirlwind of emotions, shock, heartbreak, confusion, and has opened up a larger conversation about love, identity, and the evolving dynamics within families, especially those under the glaring spotlight of fame. Many of you know T.I. as not only a rapper, but as a devoted family man who has often shared his life and values openly with fans. So when such a private and deeply personal matter becomes public, it challenges not only the family's bond, but also how fans view the man behind the music. This story goes beyond tabloid drama. It touches on the very real, raw, and complicated intersection of identity, culture, and expectations in today's world. So in this video, we're going to unpack what we know, explore the context behind the headlines, and discuss why this story has struck such a nerve across social media and the music community. Stick around, because this is more than just celebrity gossip. It's a powerful story of family, identity, and the cost of secrets. To understand the impact of this news, it's essential to look at the background and relationship between T.I. and King Harris. T.I., born Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., rose from the streets of Atlanta to become one of the most influential voices in hip-hop, known for his raw lyricism and entrepreneurial spirit. Over the years, he built not only a musical empire, but also a public persona centered around loyalty, family values, and resilience. He frequently showcased his role as a father and husband, often sharing moments with his children on social media, emphasizing the importance of discipline, respect, and love. King Harris, his eldest son from a previous relationship, grew up in the intense glare of the spotlight. As a child of a hip-hop mogul, King's life has been under constant observation, with fans and critics watching every move and every milestone. While T.I. made efforts to shield his children from the harsh realities of fame, the public nature of their lives meant there was always a level of exposure and pressure that can be hard to manage, especially for a teenager or young adult trying to find his own identity. The family was often held up as a symbol of Black love and unity, with T.I. and his wife Tiny presenting a strong front as partners and parents. But as with any family, the real story often lies beneath the surface, hidden from the public eye. The revelation about King's secret relationship with a man has peeled back those layers, exposing the complex emotions, expectations, and potential conflicts that can arise when personal truths clash with public images. According to sources close to the family, the discovery of King's relationship did not come quietly. The reports suggest that T.I. was not aware of this aspect of his son's life until some private communications, texts, and photos were leaked or brought to his attention by trusted family members. The nature of these leaks and how exactly the information reached T.I. remains unclear. But what is certain is that the news sparked an emotional and intense confrontation within the family. In many ways, this situation highlights the generational and cultural tensions that still exist within many families, especially in communities where traditional views on masculinity and sexuality can be deeply ingrained. Hip-hop as a culture has historically been criticized for its sometimes rigid views on gender and sexuality, and while it is evolving, these attitudes can still influence family dynamics profoundly. It's important to acknowledge that this is not just about public perception or celebrity gossip. For T.I., this was reportedly a deeply personal moment, a challenge to his beliefs and the family structure he has worked hard to build. The reports say that following the confrontation, T.I. asked King to leave the family home. This decision shocked fans who had long seen T.I. as a steadfast figure of loyalty and love for his family. For King, this was undoubtedly a heartbreaking moment. To be asked to leave your home, your family, especially under such circumstances and public scrutiny, must be incredibly painful. Since then, King has maintained a relatively low profile, focusing on personal growth and healing away from the public eye. This incident, while devastating, is part of a larger story about identity, acceptance, and the struggles many face in reconciling who they are with who their families expect them to be. The story of King Harris and T.I. is emblematic of broader issues faced by many LGBTQ+ individuals, especially in communities where traditional ideas of masculinity dominate. Hip-hop, while increasingly inclusive, still battles stereotypes and prejudices that can make coming out a fraught experience for artists and their families. T.I. himself has spoken in the past about family values, faith, and loyalty, often reflecting views that align with more traditional understandings of gender roles and relationships. These beliefs, while deeply held, can sometimes create difficult roadblocks when family members reveal identities or lifestyles that diverge from those expectations. King's experience shines a light on the emotional toll of growing up in a world that may not fully accept you, compounded by the pressures of fame. Many young LGBTQ+ people face rejection or estrangement from their families when they come out, and this story painfully echoes that reality. It also brings into focus the challenge of evolving cultural attitudes within families and communities that have long held conservative views. That said, there are signs of change. Many artists and public figures within hip-hop are becoming more vocal advocates for LGBTQ+ acceptance, and fans are increasingly supportive of diversity in identity and expression. This incident may serve as a catalyst for more open dialogue and understanding, not only within the Harris family, but across the industry and beyond. Once the news broke, the reaction on social media was immediate and intense. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok became battlegrounds of opinions, emotions, and debates. Supporters of King Harris praised his courage for being true to himself, highlighting the importance of love and acceptance regardless of sexual orientation. Many fans used hashtags and shared messages of solidarity, urging families to embrace their LGBTQ+ members and urging society to move beyond judgment and stigma. On the other hand, some fans and commentators expressed sympathy for T.I., understanding his reaction as one born out of shock, hurt, and deeply rooted values. They stressed that family conflicts are complex and that it is not uncommon for such revelations to cause temporary rifts, especially when they challenge long-held beliefs. Celebrities and influencers also weighed in, some calling for compassion and privacy, reminding the public that these are real people dealing with deeply personal issues. Others saw this as an opportunity to discuss the need for greater acceptance and the breakdown of toxic masculinity within hip-hop culture. The sheer volume and diversity of reactions reveal how this story taps into broader societal tensions around family, identity, and acceptance. It also shows the power, and sometimes the pain, of living a public life in the digital age, where personal struggles become public conversations overnight. While much attention has focused on T.I. and his reaction, it's crucial to consider the impact on King Harris himself. Being thrust into the spotlight for such a deeply personal matter can be overwhelming, even for those accustomed to public attention. The feelings of rejection, loss, and confusion can be immense when your family and your personal identity collide in such a public way. King's journey is one that resonates with many young people, navigating the challenges of self-discovery, acceptance, and the often painful process of coming out, especially within families that may not be initially supportive. The intersection of fame adds another layer of complexity, magnifying every step and misstep in the public eye. However, now insiders say this tape was the final straw for T.I. He's reportedly cut all contact with King, something fans have been talking about since the footage went viral. But here's the thing, this drama isn't new. King has always been the family's wild card. From viral outbursts and public arguments with his parents to legal troubles, King struggled to stay out of the headlines, and sometimes that's been by choice. You've probably seen King pop up in news stories over the last few years, not always for the best reasons. He's had run-ins with the law, including a detention back in 2022 that he posted about on social media himself. That moment was a wake-up call for many fans. It showed that the Harris family drama wasn't just online noise. It was real, and it was starting to affect their lives in serious ways. King's rebellious streak and public spats painted a picture of a young man testing limits, and unfortunately, the consequences caught up with him. But what's really interesting here is how T.I. has responded over time. He's been very clear on social media that while he loves King, he doesn't approve of his actions. T.I. once wrote, "King knows what's right and wrong. He just keeps choosing wrong." That frustration is something you can really feel. It's not just about the latest scandal. It's years of built-up tension boiling over. T.I.'s tried to be a supportive dad, but with King's constant trouble, it seems he's finally reached his breaking point. Adding another layer to this complicated story is the fact that King is about to become a father himself. That's right, King's expecting a baby, and while you'd think that would be a turning point, a chance to grow up and settle down, insiders say T.I. isn't convinced. In fact, when T.I. publicly acknowledged the news, his reaction was cold and straightforward. "Congrats, King's about to have a son." No sugarcoating, no public show of support, just facts. It's clear that T.I. sees this as just another challenge in a long line of ones. And if that wasn't enough, rumors have been swirling about the paternity of King's child. Some reports say that a DNA test was quietly done behind the scenes and that King might not even be the biological father. Now that's a serious claim that adds fuel to an already explosive situation. Imagine the tension in the family once those test results came out. If true, it's not just about King's behavior anymore. It's about trust, loyalty, and the very fabric of the family itself. Since all this drama broke out, the Harris family has been unusually silent. T.I. hasn't said much publicly, and Tiny's social media focuses mostly on their other kids. Fans aren't buying the silence, though. They're desperate for answers and are speculating wildly about what this means for the family's future. Is this the beginning of a split? Is T.I. done with being the forgiving father? The internet is watching, waiting, and the pressure's only building. Now, some people might be quick to label this as just family drama or assume T.I. is being harsh or even homophobic. But according to insiders, that's not the real story here. What's driving this mess is years of frustration. King's public behavior has embarrassed the family time and time again, from clashes with fans, controversial online posts, to those infamous giant fake horse teeth he wore that sent the internet into a frenzy. T.I. has reportedly spent a lot of time and effort behind the scenes trying to keep King in line, but it's been a losing battle. Let's not forget King's legal troubles either. He's had several run-ins with the law, including being charged for driving on an expired license, allegedly having weed and other substances in his car during a traffic stop, and skipping court dates. Every time King ends up in trouble, the media and fans quickly drag T.I. and Tiny into it, blaming them for not raising him right or giving him too much freedom. This constant pressure might be why T.I. finally decided to step back and distance himself after the leaked tape scandal. Looking at the bigger picture, this scandal isn't just about a leaked tape or King's personal issues. It's about a family legacy being challenged by real-life consequences and public scrutiny. T.I. built an empire over the last 2 decades, from music to business, and the Harris family has always been front and center. When that image is cracked, even slightly, the fallout can be huge. If we map it all out, you'll see the pattern. King's struggles have been building for years: public fights, run-ins with law enforcement, viral moments of defiance, all leading up to this leaked tape scandal that has now exploded. For T.I., this isn't just a kid being a kid moment. It's the culmination of years of tension, disappointment, and public embarrassment. And now with this scandal, T.I. reportedly isn't just walking away quietly. He's actively working behind the scenes to wipe that leaked tape off the internet, trying to protect what's left of the family name. Whether it's damage control or genuine concern for his son, it's clear T.I. sees this as more than just a scandal, it's a crisis. The public reaction has been wild. Fans are divided. Some feel sorry for King, seeing him as a troubled young man caught in the spotlight. Others criticize T.I., saying he should do more to support his son. And then there are those who just want the full story, the truth behind the Harris family's private struggles. So where does this leave the Harris family? It's hard to say. T.I.'s silence and the family's quiet social media presence speak volumes, but the internet isn't ready to let this go. People want updates, answers, and some sort of resolution. Will T.I. reconcile with King? Will the leaked tape forever damage their relationship? And what about the unborn child caught in the middle of all this? Here's my take. This situation is complicated and painful. Families go through struggles, but when you're famous, every problem becomes a headline. T.I.'s done being the fixer for King's mistakes, and that's understandable. But this story isn't over, not by a long shot. Despite the hardship, sources say King has been focused on his own healing, surrounded by friends and allies who support him unconditionally. His story is a reminder of the courage it takes to live authentically in a world that often demands conformity and silence. Looking forward, many are wondering what this means for the Harris family. Will T.I. and King find a way to heal and rebuild their relationship? Can old wounds close, and can family bonds grow stronger through understanding and acceptance? Only time will tell. Families often go through painful periods of conflict and misunderstanding, especially when faced with deeply personal revelations. What is encouraging, however, is the possibility of growth, both personal and collective. Public figures like T.I. have the opportunity to use their platforms to promote empathy, education, and inclusion. Fans and observers alike hope this chapter leads to greater openness and dialogue, not only within the Harris family, but across the hip-hop community and society at large. Stories like these remind us that behind every headline, there are real lives and complex emotions. Soft, hopeful music begins to play. Thank you for watching this in-depth look at the unfolding story between T.I. and King Harris. If this video gave you insight into the challenges families face around identity and acceptance, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. This story is still developing, and I'll be here to bring you the latest as it happens. What are your thoughts on this situation? How do you think families and communities can better support LGBTQ+ members? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your perspective. Remember, love and understanding should always come first. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.